Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about HTML and what HTML is, what tag is, what HTML element is. Um, Before we continue, we in our previous video we talked about how you can install your VS Code to get you ready for your development, and we install VS Code on our laptop or desktop, and we did that also by installing a text editor for a mobile device, which is Draw Edit for Android and Coda app for iOS device. So we'll be using those applications to build web page today. So I would like you to go ahead to open your application. If you're using a mobile phone, go ahead to open your Coda app or your Draw Edit, and if you're using a laptop or a desktop, let's go ahead to open our VS Code. So for you to open your VS Code, if you're a Mac user, you can just come to your launchpad and you see a VS Code icon, then you click it and it opens your VS Code. If you're a Windows user, you can go to your desktop and you see the icon for VS Code, and you can open your VS Code from there. So when you open your VS Code, this is what it will look like, right? You get to see this welcome page, which is like the getting started page. Right, from here you can now go ahead to create a folder. So for this particular course, we'll be creating a folder for our project where we'll put all our HTML content. So go ahead, if you're using VS Code, to open by clicking open here. From here we can now create a folder for our project. So I'll just call it projects here, right? And inside this project folder, you can select the folder and open, and it will open in your VS Code text editor. And after opening, you can close this get started. As you can see, this is the name of our folder. Let me just expand this guy, and you can see this is the guy. So the next thing you need to do is to create your HTML file. Your HTML file is the file that ends with .html, right? So for VS Code, you see this paper icon here with the plus sign, or you can right click and you see new file. So depending on which you want to do, and name the file index.html. You can give it any name you like. So let me create another file. I'll call this guy contact.html. Just make sure that all your file that you'll be creating will end with .html, because that's the way the web browser will understand that that is an HTML document. So after creating your file, then we'll now need to talk about what HTML is and what are tags, what are elements, right? What is HTML? HTML is like an abbreviation for hypertext markup language. Is the language for the web, right? It's used to create web document that the web browser understands very well, and it can help you to render the contents, whatever content you have inside that you want to render to your users, right? So from here, after defining what HTML is, then we'll now talk about what is HTML elements, right? HTML elements is just a combination of an opening and closing tag. Then I will tell you what a tag is, right? So let me show you what opening and closing tag looks like. So let me say H1, right? This is how you write like your HTML elements, right? You have an opening and a closing tag and a text in between, right? This text here is representing the content, while this guy is the opening tag, while this guy is the closing tag. What is a tag? A tag is just an angle, opening angle bracket, a text, right? A text and a closing angle bracket is called a tag, right? The combination of both the tag and the content in between the tag is called an HTML element, right? That is an HTML element. So that is that. We've talked about HTML element, and we also talk about tags, right? So the next thing I would like to talk about is the building block of HTML. We have like 4 building block of HTML. The first one is called the doctype. Like, what is a doctype? So the doctype is the first thing you see on your HTML element, the line 1. So this is how you write your doctype. And this particular doctype is for HTML version 5. We have different versions of HTML. We have HTML1, HTML2, HTML 3.0, 3.2, we have HTML 4.0, we have HTML5, right? This is how you write HTML5 version doctype, right? So this doctype is the first building block of HTML. This is used in telling the web browser that, oh, this is an HTML document, and this guy is the way, and this tag, this doctype version of the HTML is the version 5. So it will tell your browser that this is an HTML document that contains version 5 HTML elements, right? So the browser will now know how to render those HTML elements properly. I will drop a link in the description so that you can go and read about HTML version for better understanding of what I'm trying to say here. Then the next building block of HTML is called the HTML tag itself, right? This HTML tag is the guy that wraps every other content, both the machine readable content and the content that you get to see in your web browser, right? So let's move to the next one, which is the header, right? The head is not head out, it's called head, right? Head, this section is the next building block of HTML. This head section is the guide that contains the meta description of your web page, right? Things like your title, is what you get to see at the top part of your web page. Like you see Google, this title that you're seeing here is called Google. So let me render this HTML. Let me just delete this contact because we're not using it. We are using this. Oh, wow. All right, I can still get that back. We talked about this guy, and we're talking about the head, right? And we say in between the head, that's where we have our title, right? So you can have, let's say, we have a text here. Let me open this. Remember, we install Live Server, so I will use Live Server to open this HTML document in our browser. Just right click on the file, and you will see open with Live Server. For those using mobile phone, you can just for Coda app, you can just you see at the top navigation menu section, you see like an eye icon. Just click on that eye icon to open it on the browser. So for laptop users, right click on the file, you see open with Live Server. By the time you click this and allow it to now open on your web browser, as you can see, we are not seeing any content because we don't have any content in between our body. We'll get to the body part. And if you look at the top section here, you see that the text that we have in between this title is what we are seeing here, right? So that's where you put your title for your web page, right? So let me just put Google here so that you get to see. You see, so you see it as reload, and you as you can see, we have Google here. All right, so like this is the third building block. Then the last building block, which is the fourth building block, is the body tag. The body tag is the guy that holds all the visual content you get to see on your web browser, right? All the content you're seeing on your web browser will go in between your body tag. Always put any content in between your body tag. So I'll just have like an heading one here. We'll talk about heading ones. I just want to talk about the building block. So anything you have in between your body, that's what you get to see on your web browser. As you can see, our live server is already doing its work. By the time I have changed the content and save, it automatically renders here because that is the work is meant to do, to load any changes on your HTML file, right? And it's already doing that. So these are the four building blocks of HTML documents, right? Your doc type, which define the document and the version, while this your HTML is the guy that wraps every other content, and we have the head. This section contains your machine descriptive code, which are the code that your machine will understand and your browser will understand and say, okay, this is the location where this guy is supposed to go, this is the location where this guy is supposed to go. Then the last building block, which is the body tag, is this guy, which will be all the content. So whatever we'll be doing, we'll be having everything in between this body tag. You have to put every code in between this body tag if you know you want to see it on this section of your browser. So we've come to the end of this particular section where we just talk about the HTML and the description and definition. In the next video, we'll be talking about the HTML tags, and you get to learn some basic HTML tag for layouts and some tags for text. So I'll be talking about HTML tags for text and for images and different kind of tags. We'll be talking about that in our next video. If you know you've not clicked the like and subscribe button, you can do that by clicking the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification button so that you can make people to get to see the video among their search. So don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. See you next.